Ohio, Pakistan. The state in the southern Asia formed as a result of the partition of the territory of the British India in 1947. It is washed by waters of the Arabian Sea in the south, borders on Iran in the southwest, Afghanistan in the northwest and the north, China in the northeast and India in the east. Overland borders. India -2912 km, Afghanistan -2430 km, Iran -909 km, China -523 km. Pakistan, the fifth most populated country in the world with the population in inhabitants according to a census of 2020 and the second in number of the Muslim population after Indonesia. Respectively, 276 and 205 million Muslims. The country is a participant of the Union, the British Commonwealth of Nations, the World Trade Organization, Shanghai Cooperation Organization and also the DIC of Developing Countries of Group 77. The name of the country was thought up in 1933 by Rahmat Ali, the activist of the movement for independence who published it in the brochure, Now or Never, where used him as an acronym without the letter and 13 million Muslim brothers who live in Pakistan. From names of 5 northern regions of the British India: Punjab, Afghania, Kashmir, Sindh and Balochistan. The letter I was included for simplification of pronunciation subsequently. In the 2 millennia BB in the territory of Pakistan there was a center of one of the most ancient civilizations in the history of mankind, Harapsko. In the 2 millennium BB the territory of Pakistan is occupied. As a result of Alexander of Macedon's campaigns, the culture of Hellenism has an impact on the West Indian principalities, such as Taxila. The powerful Kashansky kingdom, the first center of distribution of the Buddhism, is formed. From 8th century AD in the territory of the country distribution of Islam begins. In the Middle Ages the large Muslim states led by Ghaznavidami and Buridami are formed. In the 13th century the territory is a part of the Mongolian Empire. After disintegration of the Mongolian Empire the territory is included into the state of Timuridov, which breaks up to several states. One of representatives of a dynasty, Timuridov, in the 16th century founded the Empire of Great Mughals. After which disintegration in the 18th century there is a rise in Sikh nationalism in Sindh, Balochistan, Punjab. In the 19th century the territory of modern Pakistan was occupied by the English troops and included in structure of the British India. The poet Muhammad Iqbal, the head of Muslim League, organization of leaders of separatist tendencies, was one of spiritual founders of the state. Iqbal suggested to create in 1930 the independent Muslim state into which would enter Punjab, Sindh, the northwest boundary province, and Balochistan. The name for the state in 1933 was offered by the Muslim student Shudkuri Rahmat Ali studying in Cambridge. Pakistan is meant literally, by the country clean. It is an acronym from Punjab and from Afghans from border. That is Pushtans of Sheppi. 2. From Kashmir, with, from Sindh, and Thain, from Balochistan. On March 24, 1940 in Lahore, the historical Lahore Resolution, which proclaimed the principles of existence of the Muslim community in the independent state, was adopted.
In 1947, at the partition of the British India, thanks to efforts of Muslim League, the state of Pakistan, which included the northeast and northwest regions of Hindustan mainly with the Muslim population, was formed.
The first Governor-General of Pakistan as an independent administrative unit was the Genie, the first Prime Minister of the country, Liaquat Ali Khan. In 1958 in the country there was the first military coup. The General Muhammad Ayub Khan came to the power. In 1965 and 1971 Pakistan waged wars with India. In 1971 East Pakistan becomes the independent state of Bangladesh. In 1977 there was a military coup. During this period Pakistan was on side of the USA and supported Mujahideen, who waged the anti-governmental war in the neighboring Afghanistan. Pakistan was located training the camp of Mujahideen. After murder of the President Zia-ul-Haq in plane crash on August 17, 1988. The chairman of the Senate Ghulam Ishaq Khan came to the power. The acting president Ghulam Ishaq Khan appointed new parliamentary elections at which the Pakistan People's Party received relative majority. Benazir Bhutto became the Prime Minister of the country. The new government returned democratic rights and freedoms and repealed state of emergency. Nevertheless, the situation in the country continued to worsen. Armed conflicts in Sindh continually broke up. In August 1990, Bhutto's government was dismissed. After last elections by the new Prime Minister, there was Nawaz Sharif.
In the 1990s there is a development of the nuclear program of Pakistan under the direction of Abdul Qadir of Khan that became the reason of introduction of the USA of sanctions against Pakistan.
In 1999 there was a military coup. The General Pervez Musharraf came to the power.
Since the beginning of the odd years, the northwest region of Pakistan was arrested as a stronghold of the Taliban.
In 2004, Talibs seized the actual power in the region. After September 11, 2001, Pakistan officially stopped support of the regime of Talibs and supported intervention of the USA against Talibs.
On February 18, 2008 in Pakistan there took place a general election which because of Benazir Bhutto's murder was postponed since January 8, 2008. On elections, the Pakistan People's Party received a majority of votes and created alliance with the Pakistan Muslim League.
On August 18, 2008, Pervez Musharraf resigned as the President of Pakistan in the conditions of threat of an impeachment.
During the presidential elections which followed after that, the candidate of the Pakistan People's Party Asif Ali Zardari won a victory and became the President of Pakistan. As of June 2009, territories of Pakistan bordering on Afghanistan are almost not controlled by the authorities of this state.
On May 7, 2009, the Prime Minister of Pakistan Yusuf Raza Gilani declared that he gave the order of army to destroy terrorists. Flights with application of aircraft, tanks and artillery with the purpose to occupy the administrative center of the district the Matchmaker, the cities of Mingora were started.
On April 28, 2011 there was a border conflict between Afghanistan and Pakistan near the city of Angorada.
12 soldiers of armed forces of Afghanistan and 1 frontier guard of Pakistan died in a course of action. 3 Pakistani frontier guards and 8 civilians of Angorada were wounded. According to data of Thomson Reuters Foundation, which published the rating of the countries of the world most dangerous to women, following the results of 2018, Pakistan takes the 6th position in the list of the states with the greatest number of risks for the woman in respect of healthcare, access to economic resources, usual life, sexual violence and human trafficking. Pakistan, the Federal Republic of the mixed type consisting of 4 provinces: Punjab, Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, earlier Northwest Boundary Province, and Balochistan. Besides provinces, the Federal Capital Territory and regions Gilgit-Baltistan and Free Kashmir. The last de jure is recognized as Pakistan as the independent state, but actually is his part. Challenged by India, also are a part of Pakistan. The fundamental law of the state is the constitution adopted in 1972. The Constitution of 1972 was repealed in 1977, was restored in 1985 and now works with a number of amendments. The main institutes of the Pakistani statehood were created in the first years of independent development of the country. The first Constitution of Pakistan was adopted on March 23, 1956. In the Constitution's situation was recorded that the Muslim has to be the president of the country. This article remained also in the Constitution of 1962, acting at Ayub Khan. In 1972, the new constitution existing till 1977, when a military coup headed by the General Zia-ul Haq and her action was suspended till 1985 was committed, was adopted. According to her, Islam is the state religion of the country. According to Economist Intelligence Unit, the country in 2018 was classified under the Index of Democracy as the hybrid mode. The head of state is the president, now Arif Alvi. The president is elected by federal parliament for a period of 5 years. President of Pakistan is the Supreme Commander Armed Forces of the country. Has rights of pardon, cancellation and mitigation of a sentence of any court. Makes appointments. Prime Minister. Members of the government. Governors of provinces. Members of the Supreme Court of Pakistan and Supreme Courts of Provinces. Chairman of the Commission on Affairs of Public Service. The Chief Commissioner on Elections and members of Election Commission. The highest military leaders. The government approved by the President is formed and headed by the Prime Minister, who is usually representing party or the coalition of the majority in National Assembly. The Prime Minister has to be surely a Muslim, is appointed the President from among members of the National Assembly. The Prime Minister has to enjoy confidence of most of his deputies. According to his advice, the President appoints ministers. The government drafts bills and submits them for discussion of Parliament. The Parliament of Pakistan consists of 2 chambers, the Senate and National Assembly. The Senate consists of 100 dicks elected by deputies of the lower house of federal parliament and legislative assemblies of provinces according to the majority scheme. A term of office of the Senate -6 years. 1/3 of structure of the Senate is updated each 2 years. The chairman of the Senate, Rabbani's time. The National Assembly consists of 342 deputies, 272 of which are chosen the population a direct ballot on the system of proportional representation for a period of 5 years. 60 places are provided to women, 10 places are reserved for representatives of religious minorities. The Speaker of National Assembly, Sardar Sadiq. The legal branch of the government is presented by the Supreme Court, which members are appointed the President, and Federal Islamic Sharia Court. The chairman and members of the Supreme Court are appointed the President. The Supreme Court analyzes disputes between central and the provincial governments and also between provinces. Houses of Pakistan is the last court of appeal on the affairs raising the matters of law connected with interpretation of the Constitution so far as concerns a capital punishment, etc.
Draws the conclusions on the matters of law submitted for his consideration by the President, exercises control over respect for basic rights of citizens, makes decisions on constitutionality of these or those actions of public authorities and on their competency.
In provinces there are own Supreme Courts, their chairman and dicks are appointed the President. Courts of the lowest instances, from local to district, are divided into criminal and civil and are appointed provincial governors. During rule of Zia-ul Haq also Federal Sharia Court, which solved whether there correspond laws to canons of the Islamic rite, was created. The chief ministers and operate provinces. Legislature of provinces, the provincial assemblies elected by the population.
Executive power is carried out by the governors appointed by the President and the governments of provinces approved by provincial assemblies. The foreign policy of Pakistan differs in instability that is a consequence of history of the country, a religious factor and geographical location. A main goal of foreign policy is maintaining territorial integrity and safety of Pakistan, which are under the threat from the moment of creation of the state.
In 1947 the country found independence after the partition of the British India, by formation of two independent sovereign states, India and Pakistan. Both states began to look for the place in a world order and sought to strengthen influence outside the subcontinent.
After finding of independence between India and Pakistan, there was a tension around the status of Kashmir that caused the numerous military conflicts between these two countries. In 1947 the First Indo-Pakistani War, after which the territory of Kashmir was divided between Pakistan and India, began. From August to September 1965 the countries were involved in the Second Indo-Pakistani War, which terminated in a draw.
In 1971 the Third Indo-Pakistani War took place. Pakistan lost fight for east part of the country that led to formation of the independent state of Bangladesh. After the end of Cold War, opposition between India and Pakistan amplified. The territorial dispute on ownership of Kashmir is still not solved. The government of Pakistan seeks to strengthen defense capability of the country by cooperation with other states. Special attention was paid to creation of an allied relationship with the United States of America. An important part of foreign policy was orientation to the Western world and anti-communist movements. Pakistan also considers itself vanguard of the independent Muslim states. Armed forces of Pakistan are the sixth largest in the world. Here the ground forces, the military fleet, the air force and semi-army formations participating in settlement of the local conflicts enter. Pakistan possesses nuclear weapon. The army in Pakistan always had in the country huge influence. Generals often passed to high positions in civil authorities, actively participated in political events of the country, imposed state of emergency and established control over the government. The last example such, a military coup of 1999 led by Pervez Musharraf. The Army of Pakistan participated in 3 large conflicts with India. 1947, 1965 and 1971. In Kargilski War. Pakistan is located in the northwest of the southern Asia, having extended from the southwest on the northeast on 1500 km. Within Pakistan it is possible to allocate 3 orographical areas, the flat east, the mid-mountain west and the mountain north. In the south the territory of Pakistan is washed by waters of the Arabian Sea forming the low, poorly cut up coast.
The alluvial lowland of the Valley of Indus is the western part of the Indo-Gangetic Plain located on the outskirts of the Hindustan platform.
She almost entirely lies lower than 200 m and differs in a monotonous relief with small biases. The she part of the lowland on a left bank of Indus is occupied with the Thar Desert.
The western and northwest parts of Pakistan are occupied by suburban ridges of the Iranian Plateau, Makran, Kirtkar, Shagai, Tabakakar, Sulayman Range representing almost parallel chains of mountains up to 3452 m high.
The slopes of ridges turn to the Arabian Sea and the Indo-Gangetic Plain abrupt. Opposite going down to the plateaus of Balochistan flat. Within Balochistan high, up to 3000 m, where the leveled sites alternate with the intermountain hollows dismembered by numerous dry beds of the rivers. The most powerful mountain chains with deeply dismembered river valleys and covered with large glaciers are located on far north of Pakistan and belong to mountain systems Hindu Kush, the Himalayas and Karakoram. The last is located on the part of Kashmir controlled by Pakistan. The highest points of the country, Mount Tirak Mir, 7690 m. In Hindu Kush and Mount Godwin Austin, 8611 m. In Karakoram. In the territory of Pakistan about 40 tops of the exceeding 700 meters are located.
All mountainous areas of Pakistan belong to a mobile belt young alpine Himalaya.
The major minerals are the oil, gas and coal dated for sedimentary complexes of the outskirts of the Hindustan platform, and ore of ferrous and non-ferrous metals in folded areas. Climate in Pakistan dry continental tropical, in the northwest subtropical, in mountains in the north of the country more damp with accurately expressed altitudinal zonality. Winter on the plain warm, +12, +16 C, on the coast up to +20 C. In highlands severe, 2, 20 C. Summer hot. In deserts, +35 C, on the coast, +29 C, in mountains and on plateaus of the Iranian plateau, +20, +25 C. In highlands frosty. At the heights from 50-100 m it is below 0 C. Rainfall in AU 250, 400 min valleys and on plateaus of the Iranian plateau, 350, 500 min the foothills and 1000, 1500 min mountains in the north of the country drop out from 50 min Thar Desert up to 100-200 min. A she part of rainfall drops out during a southwest monsoon. In July-September. Within the Iranian plateau, during the winter and spring period. In June 2015, the southern provinces of Pakistan were visited by an abnormal heat. Temperature in some cities reached +49°C. For several days, more than 1,200 people died from dehydration and heat strokes. The largest river of Pakistan is Indus, to which basin belongs she part of the country. The rivers in the west are drainless, or have a local drain to the Arabian Sea. The main inflow of Indus, Sutli, collecting waters of the main rivers of Punjab, Chenab, Ravi, Jhelum, Bias, and giving water to large irrigation canals, Bhepalpur, Pakpatan, Pansnet. On the large rivers, the summer high water caused by monsoonal rains and thawing of glaciers in mountains is noted.
National parks of Pakistan are created for protection and preservation of outstanding landscapes and the wild nature in natural state. Protection and environmental protection in Pakistan was for the first time included in the Constitution of 1973, however the resolution on environmental protection was accepted only in 1983.
According to the legislation of modern protected areas, national parks can be used for scientific research, education and rest. In them, construction of roads and holiday houses, cleaning of the earth for agricultural needs, water pollution, use of firearms, extermination of wild animals is forbidden. The following state departments are engaged in administration of parks: Ministry of Environmental Protection and Management of Biodiversity. As of 2010 in Pakistan there are 25 national parks, 19 of them are under control of the state, and the others are in private hands. The oldest national park, Lal Sukanra near Bahawalpur, was created in 1972. It is the only national park which existed also before declaration of independence of the country. Besides, it is the only biospheric reserve of Pakistan. The last from parks, Kalachita, was created in 2009. Central Karakoram in Gilgit-Baltistan is the largest national park of the country, covering the territory with a total area about 1,390,100 hectares. The smallest national park, Ayab, with a total area about 931 hectares. Vegetation of Pakistan, mainly semi-desertic and desert. The most poor in the Thar Desert, where the sandy ridges semi-fixed by Karafatni bushes, acacias, and rigid herbs prevail. On the plain of Indus, natural vegetation, semi-deserts and Opustaneni savannas, chia, a wormwood, capers, astragala. Along Indus and other rivers, strips of riparian forests, in the delta of Indus and along the coast of the Arabian Sea, places mangrove thickets. On the Iranian plateau, semi-desertic formations of prickly subauriculate bushes are widespread. In the mountains of Balochistan, rare thickets of pistachio and archi. In mountains in the north of the country at the height of 1,500–1,300 m, certain sites Listopadni, an oak, a chestnut, and coniferous, a fir tree, a fir, a pine, the Himalaya cedar, the woods. In valleys near settlements, plantations of a date palm tree, a citrus, olives, orchards. Along irrigation canals, plantings of a mulberry are frequent. The fauna of Pakistan is presented by the Indo-African, Central Asian and Mediterranean types. From large mammals, the leopard, a snow leopard, a brown and belligrudi bear, a fox, a wild trestle and rams, the Persian gazelle are found in mountains. On plains, hyenas, jackals, boars, antelopes, giraffe, pendants, wild donkeys, numerous rodents. The world of birds is various. Eagles, signature stamps, peacocks, parrots. The dragon, including poisonous, is a lot of. Crocodiles are found in Indus. From invertebrate scorpions are widespread pincers. The Arabian Sea is rich with fish. A tuna, a herring, a grouper, the Indian salmon. Crustacea. Shrimp. And sea turtles. Pakistan, the industrial and agrarian country with multi-structure economy.
Agriculture continues to play a large role in national economy and occupies 28%
of all NPN, though the industry actively develops and makes already 24.3% of NPN in 2009. At the same time in agriculture 43% working and are engaged in the industry -20%. Unemployment rate -15.2% in 2009. It is characterized by high dependence on weather conditions on which such industries as agriculture, the textile industry, hydropower, the water transport directly depend. In Pakistan, the spatial differences in economy caused by joint action of various factors are brightly expressed. 4 historical and geographical areas which in the territorial plan are close coinciding with administrative provinces, Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa are allocated, including in the last districts of tribes. Punjab is most allocated with agrarian production, here is made up to 2/3 wheat, a cotton and a sugar cane. In the odd years the economy of Pakistan showed sustained economic growth about 7% a year. The GDP growth of Pakistan in 2005 financial year ended on June 30, 2005 was 8.4%. 2/3 of the Pakistani export are made by products of textile and clothing industry. The main agrarian cultures, cotton and wheat. Pervez Musharraf's government pursued rather liberal economic policy. Several large banks, the largest telecommunication company and some other in recent years were privatized. In 2016 the volume of foreign trade of Pakistan was export of $24.2 billion, import of $48.1 billion, negative balance of foreign trade of $23.9 billion. Main articles of export: cotton, textiles and other weavers' goods, rice, leather, meat, sugar, fruit. Main buyers: USA 15%. $3.58 billion. China 8%. $1.94 billion. Germany 7%. $1.7 billion. Afghanistan 7%. $1.68 billion. And Great Britain 6%. $1.43 billion. Main articles of import: machines and equipment, electronics, oil products, chemicals, metals and food. Chief suppliers: China 30%, $14.2 billion. United Arab Emirates 12%, $5.84 billion. USA 4.3%, $2.06 billion. Indonesia 4.2%, $2.02 billion, and Japan 4.2%, $2.01 billion. Commodity turnover of Russia with Pakistan in 2017 made $541,044,426 having increased by 33.59%. $136,049,940 in comparison with 2016. In structure of export of Russia to Pakistan in 2017, the main share of deliveries fell on the following types of goods. Metals and products, from them 31.43% of all volume of export, products of chemical industry of 15.82%, mineral products of 12.87%, wood and pulp and paper products of 12.73%, food products and agricultural raw materials of 12.59%, machines, the equipment and vehicles of 3.04%. In structure of import of Russia from Pakistan in 2017, the main share of deliveries fell on the following types of goods. Textiles and footwear of 59.38% of all volume of import, food products and agricultural raw materials of 23.79%, products of chemical industry of 3.92%, machines, equipment and vehicles of 1.94%. The Pakistani rupee price consists of 100 paisas. In the course of the banknote of 50, 100, 10, 100, 500, 100, 50, 20, 10, 5, 2 and 1 rupee, and also a coin of 2 and 1 rupee, 50, 25 and 10 paisas. Pakistan is one of the biggest countries of the world on population. 207,774,520 inhabitants, the 6th place in the world, a census of 2017. The main part of the population lives in the valley of the Indus River. The largest cities of Pakistan are located in east part of the country. Karachi, Lahore, Rawalpindi, etc. Urban population of the country minus 36.38% in 2017. Ethnic structure: Punjabis minus 44.7%, Pashtuns minus 15.4%, Sindhi minus 14.1%, Saraiki minus 8.4%, Muajirs minus 7.6%, Baluds minus 3.6%, etc. 6.3%. According to Article 251 of the Constitution of Pakistan, national language of the Republic is Urdu, also known as law. Shahkar. At the same time, use of English in official affairs is allowed in case there was no order about replacement with his national language. In the provinces of Pakistan, such languages as Punjabi, Sindhi, Balafskai and Pashto also have distribution. Pakistan is the second, after Indonesia, the country in the world on the number of the Muslim population and the second in number of Sunni Muslims. 96% of the population are Muslims, including 91% Sunnites and 5% Shiites. The state religion of Pakistan is Islam of Sunni sense. Confessional structure of the population: Muslims minus card 96%, Hindus minus card 1.85%, Christians minus card 1.6%, Ahmadi minus card 0.22%, Sikhs -2,000,000 or 1%. Pakistan is the only state which Ahmadi officially are recognized not as Muslim minority as, according to opinion of most of Islamic theologians, they don't consider the Prophet Muhammad the last prophet. Since a census of 1974, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Pakistan boycotted a population census. Data of censuses in the part concerning Ahmadi are considered as inexact, and full number Ahmadi in Pakistan, by different estimates, is from 2 to 5 million people. The community of Muslim Labama Ahmadi living in Pakistan is considered the world's largest. The culture of Pakistan is based on Muslim heritage, but also includes pre-Islamic traditions of the people of the Indian subcontinent. Centenary British domination also had a great influence on it. In the last decades, especially among youth, also influence of the American culture is noticeable.
The Hollywood movies, the American video games, animated films, comics, books, and also fashion.
Wearing jeans and baseball caps. Fast food, drinks, etc. are popular. In music and dances, the local trends observed in Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Sindh and Balochistan differ markedly from those that are characteristic of community of Radhaya-Sichni Pakistanis. In the first case, the emphasis on national songs and dances, whereas in the culture of Urdu this motive paled into insignificance is traced. The reason is, mainly, that most of the residents of the country speaking this language belong to the Mujahs who lost root communications with native places in India. Council of Arts of Pakistan seeks to keep stability of regional styles in dances, music, sculpture and painting. Holidays. Day of Pakistan. On March 23. This day in 1940 the Lahore Resolution was adopted. Day of Iqbal.
On April 21.
Day of death of the national poet Muhammad Iqbal. Day of the termination of Ramadan. Go. On May 25. A birthday of the Prophet Muhammad. Ides of an Ulaski. On March 23, 24. A holiday on the occasion of a pilgrimage to Mecca. Independence Day. On August 14. Birthday Jennies, founder of Pakistan. On December 25. New Year. Only 63% of the Pakistani children graduated from elementary school. Besides, only 68% of the Pakistani boys and 72% of girls reach the 5th class. Preschool education is intended for children of 3-5 years and consists of 3 stages. Game groups, day nursery and kindergarten. After preschool education, pupils are admitted to elementary school. Separate training of girls and boys practices in high school. However, in the large cities there are also schools with co-education. 8 basic disciplines are Urdu, English, mathematics, the fine arts, science, social sciences, Islamic studies and informatics. Programs of some schools also join languages of the country's neighbors of Pakistan, in particular, the Arab and Chinese languages and also French. The State Radio Company, PB. Pakistan Broadcasting Corporation. Radio Pakistan. The state TV company TET includes regional radio stations, PB News radio station. Pakistan Television Corporation, Television Network Pakistan. Includes TET Home TV channel and cable TV channels.
Earlier I included also the TET started in 1992 and closed in 2008.
The most widespread sports in Pakistan: soccer, field hockey, big and table tennis, fight, boxing, weightlifting, golf, polo, swimming, squash, baseball and cricket. The most popular sport in the country: cricket. The cricket national team of Pakistan is one of the strongest in the world and fights for leadership in the international competitions to rivals from Great Britain, Australia, India. In 1992 Pakistan managed to win the World Cup on cricket. For the purpose of management and control of development of cricket, the Special National Committee is created. The Shahid Afridi, the former captain of the national team of Pakistan on cricket. From the Olympic sports, the field hockey certainly is the most successful for Pakistan. From 10 Olympic medals for all history, Pakistanis 8 won in men's field hockey, including all gold and silver. 3 times. 1960, 1968 and 1984. Pakistanis became Olympic champions, won silver 3 times. 1956, 1964, 1972. And twice bronze. 1976 and 1992. Thus, from 1956 to 1984 Pakistan won awards at all 7 Olympic Games in which it participated. Pakistan boycotted Games -1980 in Moscow. Pakistan in 1960 in Rome managed to interrupt the victorious series of India, which won gold at 6 Olympic Games in a row. In the final Pakistan beat India with the score 1-0. Bronze of hockey players at the Olympic Games -1992 in Barcelona remains at the moment the last Olympic award of Pakistanis. 2 more Olympic awards brought to Pakistan: the fighter of freestyle Mohammad Bashir. Bronze in 1960. And the boxer Said Hussein Shah. Bronze in 1988. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.